They said it's for heaven, they said it's for love. Pull the fabric tighter, call that grace from above. My scalp learned the scripture, every strand in a cage. You learn to walk smaller, just to live through the day. But who taught you to fear me? Who taught you to stare at a girl on the pavement with the wind in her hair? This is my crown, not your chain, not your rumor, not your shame. You built a prison, call it prayer, but I was born for freedom in my head, for freedom in my head. Yeah, your rules in a whisper, your hands in a fist, dress codes like barbed wire on a printed list. You talk about modest like it's carved in stone.
Hi, hello, good afternoon. How the devil are you? I thought I'd bring you this so that you know what's going on this weekend. Excuse me, I'm having a bit of a hair day. So Let Women Speak is very, very, very excited and really proud to have been invited by Yasmin Mohammed to do the London element of No Hijab Day. So if you don't know Yasmin Mohammed, do look her up. She's on Twitter. She wrote a book called Unveiled. Let me just tell you a tiny bit about her. Her life story is incredible. This is, I think, it's the 10th year of No Hijab Day, so we're quite late to the party, but we were frying other particular fish, and Yasmin's work is incredible. So let me just tell you a little bit about her, but I ask you to look her up. So Yasmin Mohammed was born and raised in Vancouver. Um, she endured similar struggles to girls in Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, and she had to survive an extremely religious and fundamentalist upbringing in Canada. When she was 19, she was forced to marry a member of Al Qaeda. She became pregnant with her baby girl, and she didn't want her daughter to have the same life, so she escaped. Her mother threatened to have her killed, um, and she, for getting divorced, living alone, taking off her hijab. And I'm going to let you see a tiny bit of the courage of this woman. So she then has taken it upon herself, along with some other very brave women throughout the world, to really talk to us all about the dangers. Because I think we all know what the danger of Islam is. But I actually think we, in our own heads, create a much more sanitized version because we don't really think we can't look at our daughters over here in the West. We can't look at our daughters and think, right, if you don't do what I say, I'd rather kill you. I'd rather have you dead. Like, I sort of think sometimes about my children, um, no matter what they do, and they could think I'm an evil, terrible, awful person and never want to see me again. And that would break my heart. But there is nothing about even that that would want them hurt, injured, upset, their lives being made difficult, let alone thinking that I would want to do what I would want to do when my one of my children decided not to obey my every rule is to kill them. Can you imagine? Can you imagine this kind of weird threat, weird stuff that goes on in those families where they would rather kill their daughters than their daughters go against them? I mean, if you can't get your head around that, it's probably because you're normal. But you have to understand that not all cultures are the same. We are not equal. We are not the same. We are not. we are not.
Solidarity with my sisters from Saudi Arabia, my sisters from Iran, and my sisters in the rest of the world. Happy No Hijab Day. May you all be free from hijab.
So, look, you might argue, and you're welcome to argue this, you'll be wrong. But I want to tell you, you might argue that actually it's a woman's choice to wear a hijab. And I'm going to tell you why you're wrong and what the problem is with the hijab. So, a hijab is often just like the first tool or one of the many more visible tools of oppression for women living under the prison of Islam. Um, and when does it happen? Well, it happens when a girl starts her period. So, can you imagine when your daughter starts her periods telling the world by forcing something very, very visible so everybody knows she started her periods? I think I would have stayed in forever if my parents had done that. I started my periods at 10. So very, very early. Um, although not as early, not as early as what some Muslims will try and pretend that Aisha, who married Muhammad when she was 6 and he was 53, and they consummated their marriage, or rather, she was raped when she was 9. And what some people will tell you, some Muslims will tell you, is she wasn't a child; she'd gone through puberty, therefore, you know, um, old enough to bleed, old enough to need, and all that. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? Um, so they might tell you that, but it's basically what the hijab is for a woman to protect her ornaments. So anything that a man will find alluring. Now, what we know about some cultures is that they really do fear women. They fear the smell. They fear the taste. I have no idea what it would be like to be married to a man in Afghanistan who thinks that you shouldn't leave the house because men are going to be lusting after you. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you're one of those women in Afghanistan, if you actually kind of show external expression of enjoying sex with your husband? He'll probably want to kill you. Like I say, we are not all the same. We are not all the same. So you have little girls from the age of, say, on average 11, maybe 12 or 13, starting to wear a hijab. Also, what happens in those cultures, including over here, I've met Somali women who say this, that at the mosque, men will start talking to them about their daughters wearing hijabs at like 2 or 3 years old. And they will pretend it so they can get used to it, so they can dress up like mummies, so they can fit in. Isn't it wonderful? But actually, it is just grooming those children into a life of oppression. So that's what the hijab is. Now, I don't think that there should be a single school in the United Kingdom where girls are allowed to wear the hijab. I think a school should be a place where it doesn't have to happen. But instead, what we've got this year, and for the last few years, I didn't even know this was happening. Um, what's been happening over the last few years is that uh, women have been talking about World Hijab Day, which has been going on again for about 10 years. And what they are starting to do in schools, and I suspect this will come to workplaces as well, is they are encouraging girls, even non-Muslim girls, to wear the hijab for on that day. So I've read so much about Aisha over the last few days because I just want to say this to you, and I know that some of you are going to feel very uncomfortable, but I'm just going to say it. I think it needs saying. The whole Islamic faith, every single Muslim has submitted to a faith that says it is okay for a 53-year-old man to marry a child, to marry a 6-year-old girl, and to get her ready for consummating the marriage. He had baths with her and he touched her body and he played with her and he fondled her so that at 9 he could rape her. Now, there is no evidence at all to say that in the Arabic world that was a normal age for a man to have sex, to rape a child. There's nothing. It wasn't usual. And in fact, and around that time in Byzantium, Christianity, Roman times, they had said that you couldn't actually get married until you were 12, which, look, it's still young. It's still gross. But a Roman emperor, maybe who came up with that, wasn't supposed to be guided by God himself. He didn't write a book and a religion which everybody followed. Nobody's saying, "Oh, do you know what? I want to go back to what Julius was doing back in the 700s in Roman times. I'm going to go and follow what he did because he did it." But we do have a religion with nearly 2 billion people following it who have said that they're okay with that. They're okay with that. And look, I know that there's many of you that want to say, well, all religions do this and all religion. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say that that's true. It's not true. We know that religion is used in all sorts of ways to oppress women, in all sorts of ways to subject people to all sorts of things. But those religions aren't raping masses and masses of girls in the United Kingdom. Those religions aren't going in, there's not a load of Jews going into schools and saying girls must wear brown wigs and cover their hair. There is not an expansion. There's not a colonizing of those religions. This is very, very unique. It's both a religion and a political movement. It's really, really unique. And it's very, very dangerous. And if you've learned nothing from Iran, have a look at the 1970s Iran and have a look at how it happened. And be fair warned. Be fair warned that it is coming. You have the Green Party that is absolutely brimming with quite fundamental Allah Akbar type Muslims. The deputy leader of the Green Party, his wife wears a full burqa. Is it the CEO or something, the chair of Ofsted, he ran an Islamic school in this country, and part of that was advising girls to wear the hijab all the time. Look, Islam has spread in a number of ways. Some of it is by the sword, and others is not by the sword. It is slow, incremental grooming of societies until you submit thinking you're the good guys, and then you will be under the threat of the sword. It's so mad. It's so mad to think that this is not happening. It's happening. It's happening right now. And they use, we're about to have in this country anti-Muslim hate laws. We got rid of blasphemy, but we're about to have anti-Muslim hate laws. Like, this is how they'll stop you doing it. A man got stabbed for burning a Quran outside a Turkish embassy, and the man who burnt the Quran was attempted to be criminalized, and the other guy pretty much got off. So you really do have to be very, very, very clear that this is a fundamental threat. And all of these things, all of these anti-Muslim hate laws, all of those things, they are being used to stop you talking about it. So it's going to be noon, Tower Bridge on Sunday. And we are going to we're going to have our usual kind of let women speak format where anybody can speak. And we are going to be standing on Tower Bridge. And I think it was a couple of years ago, there was a man who did the Islamic call to prayer on Tower Bridge. So I'm pretty sure the police are going to be totally fine with us going and doing No Hijab Day. So there are some schools in Leicester. There's some schools in Bristol. I'm sure there are schools in Sussex. There are lots of different schools across the country. Let me just show you how it operates. Okay, so this is a school. Let me find out where it is. It's in Leicester. And what they're doing is World Hijab Day is an annual event founded by Nazim Khan in 2013, 140 countries worldwide. And it's designed to spread awareness and educate people about the importance of the hijab to Muslim women and encourage women of all religions and backgrounds to wear it. That's just practice for when for when the caliphate arrives. Um, our students outlined the reasons people might choose to wear the hijab. And look, this is what happens when you normalize women being covered. You make women that aren't covered, you make the rest of us look naked. You make this hair then becomes something that you don't want to see, something that men can't cope with seeing. And it starts slowly. I mean, now they've reintroduced slavery in Afghanistan so they can further dismantle women's rights. I mean, I don't even know if they have any rights at all. I don't know. Maybe soon it will be not. They won't have the right to breathe. But I'd overwhelmingly the weakness of men who need women to cover up to stop men from acting a particular way, the womb envy, because that's what it is. It's really mad, isn't it? Can you imagine living in a place where you are not allowed to show your face, or you're not allowed to show your arms, or you're not allowed to show your belly? I mean, maybe some people shouldn't show their bellies, but you're not allowed to do those things because men find it threatening and offensive. It's totally just insane. Totally insane. So, the other thing I'm going to be organising this year is the march where the UKIP were not allowed to march. And I'd like us all to march. I was thinking of doing it late March, early May, but I might actually wait and we can do it in the summer when it's a bit hotter. Someone said, let's tell you what this person said. Western women need to deal with this one themselves. The hijab is awful on one hand, but also Muslims would argue that Western women's abortion addiction is out of control. Both cultures are flawed. Yeah, one is allowed to be talked about without being killed. So if I was a pro-lifer, right, I can, without being killed, or without being beaten by my husband or my father, I can go out and I can talk about the merits of abortion, or I can talk about the merits of pro-life movement. I can do both of those things and no one's going to kill me. What's going on in Iran right now is just horrendous. I hope all of you are following Iran, because it's just such a massive, it's just such an important lesson to all of us. But also the suffering of those people is unbearable, just unbearable. So I would like to see all of you keep elevating the voices of Iran. Obviously, we will be discussing Iranians on Sunday, and women in Saudi and Yemen, and the Kurdish fighters who've been fighting ISIS, and all women across the world. But the reason I have chosen to do this personally, and get involved in this particular fight, is I think it's coming. And I think that we in the West, we in the United Kingdom, my country, the country that I love, England, as an English woman, the reason I am doing this is because I fear the spread of Islam and Islamic councils and control in the United Kingdom. I really do think that we are being groomed to put up with this. So if we don't stop it now and we wait for everybody else to wake up, it's going to be too late. The caliphate will be upon us. And we've got tiny penised men talking about how to kill non-Muslims. He's not arrested. We have a man who, as a terrorist, trying to blow up or had a plot to blow up the British embassy in Yemen. He is standing in election in the United Kingdom. We had concerts and like that little girls like, because it's all about girls and women for these fucking impotent assholes. It's all about girls and women. The Ariana Grande concert, where Manchester just craps on and on about Islamophobia, but the Ariana Grande concert, where all those people were killed, was because little girls like Ariana Grande. Those little girls going to the Taylor Swift dance little class. It's because they were little girls. They hate you. They hate you. So this is why I'm doing it. I'm worried about what's happening in the United Kingdom. As an extension of that, I worry about what's happening with women all over the world. But I really do worry about what impact this is having for us and our daughters and our daughters' daughters and little girls up and down the country. And what happens when you introduce like a teacher wearing a hijab? You know, I don't want to see any ideologies. I don't give a fuck what they are. I don't want to see men in dresses in schools. I don't want to see women in hijabs. I don't actually believe that if you are if you hold a different country's passport, I don't care whether it's Ireland, I don't care whether it's America, Pakistan, Afghanistan. If you hold another country's passport, you should not be in an elected position in this country. Like, just no. I don't necessarily think it matters where you're born, as long as you are a British citizen and you are not a citizen of anywhere else. But anyway, I digress. I will see you on Tower Bridge. I might come and do a little space tomorrow and we can talk about it. But let me just say something else as well. Someone's just mentioned prayer rooms. I will give a £10 shop voucher to anybody who can find a multi-faith prayer room with anything other than carpets in it. If you find a Star of David, or if you find a cross, or if you find a picture of Jesus, I'll give you a £10 voucher. You have to take a picture of your face in that multi-faith prayer room. But wouldn't it be terrible if little pictures of Jesus and different religions started popping up on the walls of those places? Terrible. Anyway, if you can speak about these things, because we must, then I promise we will win. If you can hold authority to account, then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Well, because I never lose.
They said it's for heaven. They said it's for love. Pull the fabric tighter. Call that grace from above. My scalp learned the scripture. Every strand in a cage. You learn to walk smaller, just to live through the day. But who taught you to fear me? Who taught you to stare at a girl on the pavement with a wind in her hair? This is my crown, not your chain, not your rumor, not your shame. You built a prison, call it prayer, us under